Hello everybody, I'm Ian Abernethy, and in this video I want to talk about a problem that I can see in the fringes of the practical karate community, but nevertheless it's something we need to be vigilant against. The good news is that I think that the practical approach to karate is one that's growing exponentially. You can see that in the number of practitioners who are now practicing this way, the growth of organisations dedicated to this form of practice, the amount of material that's been put out, seminar attendances, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's growing exponentially, and that's good and that's positive. But we need to remain forever vigilant. You know, karate got a bit weird during the 1940s. It can get weird again, so we need to keep a close eye on things. And one thing that I can see, I mean, it's not a huge problem, but it's significant enough that it prompted me to make this video, is that people are getting excited by practical karate, and therefore they want to practice it, and in some cases they want to teach it, but they're losing an important part of it. But what I mean by this is, so people go, right, well, what do practical karate guys do? Well, they do bunkai and do drills. They do lots of pad work. They do lots of live training drills of various sorts. They do scenario-based drills. You know, these are the kind of things that they do. Well, we're going to do those things. We're going to practice those things, and we're going to teach those things. But what they sometimes miss, which is vital within it, is good quality technique. So, and I think where this comes from is technique, or working on technique, is seen as something that 3K guys do, you know. So good kata, kyo, and kumite, and never the three shall meet, you know, the karate of the 1940s. The people kind of say, well, you know, they spend ages developing technique, but we're practical guys. We just, you know, put on head guards and get stuck in. We just whack pads. We don't spend time walking up and down the room developing technique. Well, you know, there's limited value to walking up and down the room. It does have some value, and it is something we should do, right? But we still need to be vigilant about good quality technique. So whereas the 3K guys, for them it's entirely arbitrary. You know, so sensei walks up and goes, no, not here, here. Okay, and I'm not there. You know, these little minor changes, you know, which are useful because they develop high levels of body control, but there's not a functional measure. It's just sensei saying he wants it done this way. We as practical karate practitioners, we can take our technique and pressure test it, and we can see whether it works or not. And then we need to come back, and we should be working on the minutiae with the same degree of obsessive fanaticism, that same degree of trying to nail down the minutiae of the technique, because that's where we're going to find the real practicality. What worries me, I think, in people's rush to practice this way in some cases, or even rush to teach this way, I see them doing the surface stuff, so they'll do the live drills, the pad work, and blah, 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 but I watch them do the pad work, and they can't hold the pads properly, and their impact is poor, and the quality of the technique is bad. And then I watch them show, oh, this move in the kata represents a throw, and I watch them do the throw, and the unbalancing is off, and the hip rotation is off, and the gripping is off, and that's obviously not good, because it will not survive meaningful pressure testing. Now, if you've got a room full of people who are incompetent, it may survive pressure testing within that environment. If you're in a room full of people where everyone's got bad technique, then, you know, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. But it won't survive meaningful pressure testing, and we need to be vigilant on that. So we want the best quality technique we can have. We should be working on the small little details. You know, so our throwing is really good, our locking is really good, our striking is really good. And the majority of practical karate people I know do that because they understand the utility in it. However, that takes time, you know, and it takes effort, and to spend a lot of time working on the minutiae of technique. It takes time. It's hard work. It's not always exciting to do, you know. So what happens is people say, I'll skip that bit. I'm an instant expert. Let's just kind of do the drills, and we will do the drills. It doesn't matter how well they go. We'll just do the drills, and then we can say that we're practicing practical karate, you know, but they're not, because the quality of the technique is poor within it. Now, I understand that people maybe don't want to do that, but you've got to do it. You've got to spend time working on the nuances of the technique. So if you're someone who's into practical karate and you're a club, ask yourself, how much time do we spend on technique? Right? Or do we just quickly, you know, run through a few things and it's all live drills and pad drills? Because, I mean, while they're vital, if you're doing all of that with bad technique in it, you're just cementing bad habits, right? That's not good. You want good quality technique within meaningful functional drills. Also, if you're someone who's interested in this, you know, then you need to be looking at that as part of what you should want from your practical karate. So look at the quality of the instruction you're getting, looking at the quality of the technique. Is the person who's teaching me this, are they teaching the shell of it, or do they understand, you know, how the tactics, the techniques, the details of it? Do they understand that part of it too? You know, just because they throw punches at one another and stick on head guards and whack pads and have cool or clever bunkai ideas doesn't mean they're doing it practical. Ultimately, what you need all of that, but you need a good quality technique within it. So, be vigilant on this. Again, I don't think it's a big problem. I don't think, I think overall the technical standard is high. But I can see some practicing that way where they're not spending enough time on the basics. And I can also see that, in some of the people who teach it as well. They just want to teach the shiny, exciting bit. And they either don't want to or don't have the ability to teach the nuanced technique as well. That's not just the remit of the 3K guys. They spend a lot of time on their arbitrary technique. We should spend a lot of time in the minutiae of our practical, functional, objective technique. Because if you don't do that, it ain't practical.